No, that's not it. No, it's literally the audio enhancements. Hi, welcome to the podcast. We're just getting right into it. As always, if you haven't noticed already, I like to do a thing where I just hit record and then just let it candidly happen, like let our intro just happen. But yeah, no. So we have a 2-mic setup again because we had to go on 1 mic for the end of Breath of the Wild with Chase because I thought we were having mic issues. And the only real issue was there's this little cute funky thing that fucking my computer likes to do, where when we plug in another mic, you have to right click on the actual little like volume icon on the taskbar, sorry, and then you go through the sounds and all that nonsense and you find the mic, and in the advanced tab there's this like audio enhancement feature you can click on or off, and I'm not sure what enhancements this is supposed to be, because it fucking doesn't enhance shit. If anything, it's the complete opposite of enhancing the audio. It makes it sound shittier.
Just say it makes it worse.
This is actually relevant to the podcast, so I'm not just going on a weird tangent before we get into the actual topic, because we tried to do a Spider-Man version of the podcast a long time ago. You remember that? We still have the thumbnail, so maybe like if you're watching, I'll throw the thumbnail up. May or may not still do it. I don't know, because again, we're not going to be going for much longer for this channel. But
wasn't it also similar with the stupid Mario Brothers one, or was
no, that one was just way too fucking long. I want to try and redo that and condense it. Thanks for just throwing that out there, by the way.
I mean, I don't know.
We're going to do a Stupid Mario Brothers a Stupid Mario Brothers episode of the podcast at some point. We recorded a 3 fucking hour version, and that's really long for a podcast. I want to try and keep these to like 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours if we're just really passionate. Or if I don't shut the fuck up with my tangents like I'm doing right now. But no, we tried doing an episode of the podcast on the Spider-Man live-action movies. It was basically leading up to No Way Home. I believe we had already watched No Way Home, and we mentioned it, didn't we?
I believe so.
It was either right before it was coming out, so we were like, no, it had to have been after.
I think it was after,
I think it was after. Because we went over the Tobey Maguire movies, then the Andrew Garfield ones, into the Tom Holland ones. Mm-hmm. So the reason why that didn't go out, though, was because the audio came out real, like, weird. And you know how, like, you get that, I don't know how to describe it, that weird, like, what would you call it? Not tingly, like, twangy type of sound, like your headphones are about to come out of the jack, but they're still just in enough, but it sounds all warbly and like weird. That's kind of the quality in which the audio got recorded. So we were like, shit, I don't want to put that out. And it was because of the audio enhancements. Anyway, we were having that issue again. That's not going to bring it up. Welcome to the VidGames podcast. Today we're talking about Astro Bot.
Astro Boy.
No, that's a different property altogether. Do you remember the CGI movie?
Kind of.
I think we have it on DVD. I can't. It was fucking weird.
I don't remember.
It was like an Americanization of like the original story and shit, and I don't think people liked it because it was just fucking bizarre. Because it had like an old school like anime and everything back in the day, like in the what was it, like 80s or before that? I think before that.
Something like that, yeah.
No, okay, sorry. See, we're doing it again. Astro Bot is super fun. It's not about a little robot boy. Well, it is about a robot boy, but it's a different robot boy. He's a cute, funky little dude. And a lot of people like to think he overthrew Sackboy. I don't know, like, there was a bit of a little collab there for a minute. I mean, Little Big Planet's always been referenced in Astro Bot, which was cool. But when the Astro Bot PS5 game came out, they did a little tiny promotion with Sackboy because he got an Astro skin in Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is a very fun game if you've never played it. A really good platformer. Very like Mario 3D world coded, because it's like isometric sort of. But for Astro Bot, it's like a full 3D platformer. It really, from the beginning, it kind of... Well, I shouldn't say maybe from the very beginning of Astro's like conception. We're gonna go through the 3 main games. The start of Astro Bot, we can't talk about too much. I only know what I know from like Nitrorad's review, because the Playroom did come with our PS4, but we didn't have a VR headset, or it came with the headset, or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
But I never,
We
we never touched it.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know really what it was, and it was just a bunch of mini games to like get you into how VR works, and it's supposed to be like a little VR tech demo of sorts, if you will. So we didn't really care for that. I didn't know what it was, so we skipped that. The only real VR thing I played before getting into VR proper, or even Doom proper, funny enough, was Doom VFR. And it was fucking weird. I don't really care for the type of VR games that make you click to move. Very bizarre. So I don't know. It's really, really weird. I think Astro hit it really nice, and we'll get to that in just a second. But Astro as a character, and the platformer concept for what Asobi would do after Playroom. It started in Playroom as like a good 10 to 15 minute like little mini game among the others that was just called Robot Rescue, I think.
I think so, yeah.
And there's the same principle, the same concept as Astro Bot Rescue Mission, where you platform around, you can see your controller, you know, and you can wobble it around, and you could like use like one or two different gadgets, and you make, you know, the character platform around. And from the get-go, I can say that from the get-go, they, in terms of the VR stuff, they really had a good firm head on like how to do not the clicking to move around. You are the camera. They made a little like robot, generic robot floating character to be like the stand-in for you, so that there's a lore reason why you're in the world, quote unquote. And then from there, like, you move your head around to see where Astro's going, because they put the platforming all around you. So instead of moving the camera to look around, you have to do that yourself. And I think once they figured that out, it was like the most ingenious thing. Because other platformers for that time, like Lucky's Tale, the original Lucky's Tale, tried doing something similar. Moss was very more isometric, very more enclosed. So it was a matter of everything was static, and you had to look around and kind of get up close to the play area and move, what's her name, around. Well, I'm forgetting the mouse character's name at the moment. I threw her name out. And I played the demo of Moss, so that was fun. I've never played, you know, the full game, either of them. But I think Astro Bot did it the best in terms of VR platforming. I wish VR caught on more outside of like the rhythm games like Beat Saber, or the crazy weird fuck ass games like some of the ones we've played. Like I mean, there's ones that are cool like Super Hot and things like that. But then you get like, we played on the channel fucking Polybius from Llamasoft, and that game is just a fucking trip. But I think you can also play that. I think you can play that without VR. But if you don't have photosensitivity stuff, I would definitely recommend it because it's insane. But definitely, it's very colorful. Let's say that. Quite literally, it'll blast colors into your face. So
yeah, literally a fucking seizure warning.
That's what I'm saying. People who are sensitive to that stuff definitely do not look into or even watch footage of Llamasoft's Polybius game. But if you are a VR connoisseur and you want something to play, recommended from good old Unky Mark, yeah, it'd be fucking that game because it's crazy. But point being, like, PSVR 2, it really sucks that, like, it's so expensive and it's so, like, there's not much interesting that's made for it, because I feel there's a market to be filled there for VR-specific platformers. Make it just cool enough that, like, I think because Astro exists already and is out of the VR world now, with Playroom and the new PS5 game, that, like, something else can fill that spot and then actually stay there as an incentive to want to, so they could have 2, 3, 4 games in that series and it's VR exclusive just to fill that gap, because it's very unique. It's a very unique concept. But when you first saw Astro Bot, what were your thoughts? Because I showed it to you. I found it on a whim. Let me say it too. When I actually found Astro Bot through Rescue Mission, I was looking at VR stuff. We had just gotten a VR headset, and I was looking for games. I already found we found Thumper, I think, which you could play in VR. I played Tetris Effect in VR, which is the coolest way to play Tetris.
To playing Tetris in VR made me, like, tear up a bit.
It was, playing the journey mode and going through everything, like, the entire journey mode in VR was fucking sick. I'm still trying to get Grandma to do it, because, again, having Tetris, that's one game outside of, like, how she used to try and play Crash and couldn't really get the hang of it, try to play Spyro, couldn't really get the hang of it. Tetris was her game. In terms of playing with me on the PlayStation from back when I was a kid, Tetris Plus. That's why it's so nostalgic to me. Is because that was the game Grandma and I played together, and she was so good at it because I could never get a Tetris. The best I've ever done was maybe 1 or 2 triples as a kid, and she was knocking it out with Tetrises, and I would see the graphics and be like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" So, for the modern time, she's played Tetris Effect and she likes it, like without VR. But I wanted to try it out in VR just once, and she keeps not wanting to do it. And it's like fuck, but not that she is photosensitive or anything. It's just she doesn't want the big clunky theme on her head. And I'm like, it's more convenient than you think. You don't have to take your glasses off. You can like adjust the helmet or the visor so it can like stay on your head with your glasses. Mom plays Beat Saber and she loves it, and she doesn't have to take her glasses off.
Yeah,
she doesn't have to do that. So,
when I saw Astro Bot Rescue Mission the first time, I think I just kind of immediately got hooked on it because of it was a very simple premise. It was very simple gameplay, so it was just like just go and have fun with the world and everything. And because that combined with the fact that they didn't limit you to lives and stuff,
yeah,
really makes it to where it's like if you messed up, then it didn't necessarily matter. It's just all right. Go ahead and try again. You know, go ahead, go until you get it right. And I like that they kind of kept that. They really stuck to that formula for up to now, and I hope they still continue it if they do. But I really enjoyed Rescue Mission, and I've since enjoyed the other games. I've yet to beat Playroom myself, but I know how it ends because I watched you.
Yeah.
But I've yet to finish it myself, and I don't have PS5 Astro Bot yet. I want to get it at some point, but
you've got a lot to go through. You've got some DLC to buy.
Yeah.
You've got all those levels.
But it'll be worth it though because it's actually a really fun. It's a deserved fucking game of the year, which we'll get to in a bit.
Oh yeah. But, again, we're gonna be getting through all because there's only these 3 games. 2 of the 3 are relatively short, but there's still plenty to talk about, and especially when we get to Astro Bot PS5.
Mm-hmm. But for Rescue Mission, Rescue Mission, for what it was, I think was really good as a starting point for Astro's little mini career as he started.
Mini career of games popularity. He has skyrocketed right now. It's insane.
Isn't he considered
right now
his unofficial mascot or something?
Of sorts. I mean, he's getting to that status. I'm not sure if people really see him as that. Getting Game of the Year for Astro Bot PS5 definitely helped. And again, we'll get there when we get there. But like, his status is insane. Like I keep saying, because he started as a VR thing. Like it's like if Moss grew to that extreme, or if I don't know, so anything else got to that extreme, but it's because I think of how coded it is in PlayStation stuff, even from back when it first started. I'm not sure how much PlayStation iconography actually appeared in the Playroom, but it was very subtle, but very noticeable in Rescue Mission. This is a big topic because it's well, soon as we get through the game, it's going to be kind of Astro's identity, and it's going to be a big talking point later in the episode. But being so PlayStation coded in general, as if Astro's representing PlayStation, it was very subtle in Rescue Mission, because things like I think, let me see, the symbols show up, X, circle, square, triangle. Those show up like on some of the rugs you ride. They're like on edge, like embroidered in the corners. When you fight the ape, the monkey boss, like the skyscraper you get up to, the top of it is not super accurately like with the icons and everything, but it's supposed to be the top of a PS1, yeah. Because like the disc trays there and the buttons or the general button placements are there, but it's not coded to say Sony and have the PlayStation logo.
Yeah, because it's not like it's an actual PS1, but it
if
looks like
if you recognize it, you'll go, "Oh shit, that's a cool Easter egg." So like, the PlayStation icons and representation was more treated as a reference / Easter egg than being so woven into Astro's identity. That would happen in the next one, but we'll get there in just a sec. Again, the gameplay is so goddamn intricate, and it fascinated me. I forget how I found it. It helps that Astro bought. So it's going to be up there if you're looking alphabetically through the games. Because that's what I was doing. I was going through the PlayStation Store just looking for VR games. So I think at some point I must have been looking alphabetically, so it was one of the first to show up. And I'm looking through previews and trailers because that's how I usually look for new games and stuff. I've been doing it again recently, which is how I found a couple different stuff. Other games, but like with Astro, it hit immediately because I'm like, oh my god, this is like Crash. Like the gameplay is very linear like Crash, and it has very intricate, simple but intricate, platforming gameplay. But the cool part was the perspective and how they utilized the entire 3D VR space. So at points, Astro Bot Rescue Mission, if you're playing it in VR, is best played in an office chair, because you need to swivel around at times to look behind you and craning your neck and doing all that. Chase and I played it on the channel. In fact, we played everything but Astro Bot PS5 on the channel because I was so into it and I wanted to bring it to VidGames. So playing in VR was really fun, having Chase go through it. As you could see, in that footage, having to swivel around and look and do and finding secrets. Sometimes you're platforming and you look over the edge of where you're platforming and there's a platform way down, like kind of obscured by some like fog, but you can see a little bot down there. And so for Rescue Mission, the of course plot, or rather like the main gameplay thing, is you have to save your little bot friends, and
save
so
the little friendos.
Save the friendos. It's one of those kinds of games. Those are always fun because they're treated like collectibles. So you don't have to get all of them, but you're incentivized to, just for the sake of 100% completion and stuff like that. But for Astro Bot's progression, because it's a very easy like pick up and play type platformer, the VR part's the part you have to get used to if you're not super used to VR. But like.
Yeah, and even Rescue Mission also gives you little challenges if you find like a lizard in like
the chameleons.
The chameleons.
That's true. So there's little challenge levels. They're not too crazy, but they're a little tougher than your garden variety platforming.
And just to spice up your gameplay, if you're looking for like a challenge or something, then you've got all those right there, which I think also goes for 100% completion.
I think so. In terms of like the progression, though, like the normal progression, you don't have to find all the bots. So you have to find a certain amount to unlock the boss. But if you're good at just finding them as you go, not all of them are that hard to find. Then like as long as you keep up with it, maybe get like, because how many are in each level? Like what?
Oh, I don't even remember.
8 or something per level,
I think.
So if you're getting at least 4 to 6 per level, you should be fine. By the time you get to the boss, because there's like what, 5 or so levels, 4 or 5
levels, and then the boss.
Yeah. And that's the gameplay loop. It's literally like 4 to 5 levels, a boss. Find your bot friends. The coins you can spend when you go to your ship, and you can like buy little like diorama pieces and stuff. So that's cool. Plus, you could just look at all the bots you've saved. Which. The ones from those chameleon missions are where you get the gold and the silver bots, right? I think so.
I believe so.
Because they're little, like, time trial, like, get to the end in a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
so if you get there...
I believe the levels are time trials, and the bosses are, like, they're like, oh, can you beat the boss without losing a heart or something? Like,
it's either... it's perfect run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot the bosses come back in those challenges, too. Yeah, because they give you 2 times to beat. If you can be at least one of them, you'll miss out on one bot, but you'll get the silver one. But trying to beat, so it's like Crash. It's like the relics. Trying to beat the main time they want you to beat, you'll get the gold and the silver. So you're guaranteed both of them. That gimmick would stick around by the time of like Astro Bot PS5.
Also using gadgets as well for
the gadgets are fun.
Because it's really cool to have like being able to like hook onto like a thing with the controller to make like a rope for Astro to cross.
Yeah, you can flip the controller and it can like bounce him up higher.
Yeah, and things or like what else was there? There was like a water hose one.
There's the water hose one. There's flicking the touchpad for the
the ninja stars.
Yeah. Which
shurikens.
That felt very inspired by Nintendo with the Wii U. Because one of their like, well, that was a Nintendo Land thing. It started as a tech demo thing from one of the first like the announcement trailer for the Wii U. But in Nintendo Land proper, there's a mini game where you can like flick using the touchpad or the gamepad, you flick, ninja stars or shurikens like at trees or at enemies or something.
Yeah.
And they show up like in the game, so you aim and then you flick it. It's really cool. So same principle, just on a smaller controller. But
oh yeah, I also remembered. Yeah, because also they want you to use like after the 8 boss, or I think either at that one or after him. For every other boss after that, they reuse the gadgets for that fight, so you can go and like pound on them and stuff.
Like the octopus has the water, if I remember. The
spider had the shuriken.
The shuriken.
I remember.
So yeah,
I think the bird also had the hook.
Yes, because he hooked on his goggles and punched his eyes. Because that's fun. Cartoony body gore or whatever, body horror. I think it's really cool to always have where you can always see the controller. Because the controller, and again, you yourself are so integral to the gameplay that it's not. They made sure to not make it like you're just a bystander just playing the game. You have to interact with the game.
So sometimes a level will start with like a camera that shows like what you look like in the world, and it's just
you can see your shadow, stuff like that.
Yeah, even your shadow as well.
Little things like that. But too, the way certain things are designed, like having to like bonk walls to get stuff out of your way,
or have to avoid enemies as well. Where like
sometimes they won't shoot Astro, they'll shoot you. Yeah, so you have to dodge. There's the guy that kicks the soccer balls. They kept him as an enemy that would just kick the balls to Astro, but in Rescue Mission, they're kicking it right at you, and you have to bonk it back, and so you're playing a little back and forth. Yeah, shit like that is so cool. There's also when you like are underwater and you rise up and you'll see like the seaweed like dangling over you, and it feels like it's actually like on you. How intricate the game looks in VR. It's so weird because I'll always say this. I think I said it in the playthrough, but I always feel it every time I return to Rescue Mission, because I streamed it as well on Destination Mark, but in preparation and in celebration for Astro Bot coming out, the PS5 one. But I did a little marathon. That was the most recent time I played. I went back to Rescue Mission, but 1-3. Literally the third level of the game, there is this moment. It's a cave level, but there's this moment, you're gonna remember this, because it's not always that Astro stays in the center lane of your view, your vision. There's, like I said, you'll be platforming up, like over your head. You have to literally look up and see like him going over your head or behind you, or like way down, like below like the normal path or whatever. So there's this one point where he's like kind of not over your shoulder, but like near your shoulder, like at shoulder's length on the right hand side in this cave level, and it gives you this like perspective of you're floating over nothing for the most part. You can see like the other cave wall to your left where not much is happening, but there's some secrets to the left hand side, but the right hand side you're platforming, so Astro's right there, and it feels so toy-like. Do you remember going to like, we've never been to like a real proper toy store before, but you know how when things are like already put together like Lego sets, or like, and they're recreations of like maybe real cities or buildings, and they're like dioramas in real life, and it just feels like you can go mess with everything. That's what it feels like. The texturing and the lighting and everything looks so fucking good, and they're so detailed that in that moment, for that level, for me specifically, it felt like I could just reach out and like grab Astro, or like move, or like touch stuff. It feels so like real in a way, but it's all cartoony. But I like that aesthetic. It's an aesthetic I don't talk about very much, but like cartoony things that are very built or have the posture or stature of something very cartoony, like cartoony proportions, but textured and detailed so realistically. It doesn't clash as much as that sounds like it should. I think in early CGI and in early works it kind of did with like Toy Story or something, because we were just starting out in CGI on that big of a scale, but coming into something like Astro Bot, and with you in the VR headset and you're there essentially, it feels like it's there. It really does. Like watching footage, it's like how everyone ever says about VR. Watching someone play it through a stream or a playthrough, watching it on a TV, it is not the same as having the headset on, like, because you have the whole in the headset and in the footage, you're seeing all the janky shakiness of the person shaking their head, like moving their head around. But when you're in the headset, everything feels very static because you're, again, quote unquote, there. So, like, you moving your head is just, it's almost like you moving your head around the room right now that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it just, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like anything's on your head. It doesn't feel like everything's janky and shaky, because that's just what the footage looks like. But when you're in there, like, it feels so different. And they play with that because they play with, again, not just perspective, but like size. Because even though you're a big kind of bot, that doesn't do much besides, you're the camera. So Astro always looks so small, and the enemies, some small enemies look kind of, kind of tiny to you. And especially when you're hovering over everything, so you get a good look of where you're platforming, that's all fine and good. But when you're facing, the bosses, especially the shark one, that one made me really feel like small. And there's moments too, like in the spooky level, where that just big fucking giant like skeleton bot shows up at the very beginning, and it's just looming over you, and it's like, I think eyes light up to look at you. Or like one of the mushroom levels where you get to the end, and there's just a shitload of like big ass mushroom guys looking down at you. It's so cool. That play of perspective and like size is so cool. I've never seen a platformer do that before and make it feel that impactful. In terms of VR, like it's really cool. It's really, really cool. So even though the level design is just so, again, unique, you can't do it like that outside of VR. It doesn't really work. With the perspectives that they can like pull off, and how, again, you have to look everywhere. So it's, again, best played like in an office chair where you can swivel. Some way, shape, or form you can get yourself to easily swivel around. To look around and stuff. It's really fun. Is there anything else you have to say about Rescue Mission? I think we touched on pretty much everything.
That's pretty much it. Again, it's very short.
It was the hook.
Yeah, it's the hook that started like these next two games, and it's very, because you look at it, it's just a very fun, very simple platformer game in VR, and the way they design the levels around the VR is very interesting and cool, and it was very much like an innovative thing. And no other VR game, as far as I'm aware, hasn't really done something like what Astro did. And
Lucky was probably the closest, but it doesn't play with it nearly as creatively as Astro Bot does. And I never played the original Lucky's Tale because it's on like the Vive or like some other VR headset that I don't. We only own PSVR. That's it, and just the first one, not even PSVR 2.
Because PSVR 2 is
expensive. That's why I was saying that beforehand.
As much as I would love to have one to experience those kind of games,
there aren't very many interesting games. That's what I said before. The only game I can see right now that I'd want to get it for is the Utility Room, because I showed you that game, and that game looks fucking crazy.
I would want to get it for FNAF. But, that's me.
I can't fathom how you can play FNAF in VR. It's insane. But
no, Astro's Rescue Mission it's just a really fun game.
For it being a VR game, I'm surprised it got it as popular as it did. Because Team Asobi at that point, I think, was just kind of indie. I think, for its time. I don't remember them having, like, huge ties to, like, first-party major Sony stuff. Unless they did, and I'm just dumb. Because I know...
Well, weren't they originally associated with Studio Japan or something?
I think so. Or Studio Japan, like published it or something. But they're no more. And thank God they didn't get rid of Team Asobi. Like, didn't break them up or anything. Because we wouldn't have what we have now. But, like, that happened a little before, I think, Astro Bot PS5, if I remember right. If I remember right, I might not be. But
it was either before Astro Bot PS5 or it was a little before Playroom. It was one of the two.
Something to that effect. But if you've seen our reactions on Destination Mark, when they had the PS5 showcase, I was not expecting them to bring Astro back, because I thought that was a fun game, and that's kind of just where it ended, because it was only one of its kind, so we didn't know.
Yeah, you would think that you think that when you finish playing it, you're like, wow, that was a very fun VR game. Anyways, and you just kind of move on from it, and then
that's not to understate like how good it actually is or was, because it's a very fun game, and I would highly recommend it if you, again, like VR, have never tried VR but aren't photosensitive or sensitive in general to it.
And if you like the platforming and whatnot, and having
Obviously,
to look
most of
around
our
and
audience
stuff
likes platformers, so I mean,
like
it's like hell yeah, like play it, play Rescue Mission specifically. Like try it out if you've never tried it out, and you are able to somehow get a hold of a PSVR because it's a lot of fun and it's very unique. And again, we didn't have any idea how. Because you play a one-off game. Because I obviously get what you're saying. You play a one-off game like that, and you don't expect. No one should really expect things to become franchises, even though that's what we're doing nowadays. Everything kind of has to be a franchise. But I still never really expect a franchise to come from a standalone thing, or even just a sequel to come from a standalone thing, whether I want it or not. But
well, because it's that thing where like you play it, you have fun with it, and then you think, okay, well, this was a really fun game. Whether there's another game or not, maybe we'll see. But I mean, for what you played, it was very fun for you. And then you find out later, oh, it's actually really fucking popular, and it warranted a sequel. So then you have one, and that's how fucking Playroom came to be.
And Playroom's so interesting in its own right because it's not even like a full game, it's a tech demo.
I know.
It's a tech demo.
It's a tech demo, but it feels like a full game.
Let me just say right now, Astro's Playroom is the most expensive video game ever made. It costs $500. It's free with your PS5. And the funny thing is, again, the odds were still against Astro at the time because that was when COVID was going on. So it was really hard to get a PS5. I keep saying it, and I don't mean to keep saying it as if I'm bragging. It's not at all. Thankfully, because we weren't even successful the first time, Miharu and I tried to, the day we knew it was going to go live, when the PS5 was about to drop day one, I had blasted up my account with some money that I saved up to try and get it through Amazon, and her as well. So we were both on a call together on our Amazon pages.
I remember.
Refreshing like hell, getting ready when midnight drops so we can try and buy the PS5 through Amazon. And didn't work, unfortunately. Because by the time we were refreshing and doing, they were sold out quite fast. But then a little later, I think I'd saved up some more cash, maybe not even a month, probably a couple weeks, after that. And we happened to get ours pretty early, and we got it for like the base price. We got in through like Walmart, and then we just went, and it was the weirdest way to go get a console, because like the last time I picked up a console before that was when I went to go get the Switch at GameStop, where I could just walk in. Beforehand I was like, hey, I want to pre-order the Switch, and I did that, and then the day it dropped, I just went and picked it up. And then when we got the PS5, we had to drive in, and we waited there, and we had to like notify the dude on like an app or something, or we called a number, and then a guy with a mask came out, and we had popped the trunk already, and then he just went and put it in, and then we were like, thank you, from like a distance, and then he left. It was so strange. But again, it was hard for a lot of people to get a PS5. It's much easier now, but because we're 5 years in. But back then it was really hard, and it was at the tail end of 2020, I think, when the PS5 dropped. So we were like in it, in the pandemic. So it was really hard. But Astro Bot having this new Playroom thing and it being a tech demo was really cool, and it wasn't some 10 to 15 minute thing. It was like a maybe 1 to 2 hour like experience, because it's like a miniature game.
Yeah, because also it was also kind of, and this was also the start of the PlayStation Celebration stuff, because because this was Astro's Playroom was the game where they started to not just reference games subtly, they just made it the forefront, and like in the form with, they took the friends that you would save and make some of them special bots where they dressed up like the characters.
For that point, it was only as references, because they were, it's still technically a sequel, we still technically kind of as a game, because it feels very not much is linked to Rescue Mission, except you do see like the Big Brother bot. You do see the Bird Boss recreating Last Guardian. So there's subtle little nods to when you get the VR headset as an artifact, you can actually punch it and then look through and see like a bit of. You can look through the little lens and you can see Risk Mission playing like in the VR headset. But yeah, we're gonna get to that. So like the gameplay first for Playroom, it again, yeah, it's already pre-installed. It's free on every PS5. It was just hard to get one at the time, so not a lot of people played it at first. But those who did, like, it's such a fun little tech demo because it's still like a kind of full-fledged game. It's just very, very bite-sized. You only have 4 areas of the PS5 to check out, and I think that was cool too. I've got a lot of thoughts at once. I'm going to try and not stray too much. Where how you're saying, yes, this was the start of the PS kind of celebration stuff, and then it started to slowly become a part of Astro's identity. But for it being a tech demo, that made sense because it was their chance to get
at the time. Wasn't it celebrating PlayStation's
like 25th or something anniversary?
Yeah, something.
So it was a celebration of all things PlayStation, and it was just like,
sorry, noise. Continue.
Awesome. It was the best way to really. It was a good excuse to get meta, and just be like, hey, this is taking place in your PS5 or in a PS5, and you're visiting these different facets, and it's just all PlayStation all the time. Like, we're going to reference all kinds of shit PlayStation, whether it's obscure as hell or very well known. And so, but for the gameplay itself, it's still very much the Astro platforming that we knew already from Risk Mission, just not in VR. So they still managed to make it fun with VR, because you have your regular camera, you can look around and stuff. Because that was the thing I didn't really mention. As we were reacting to the PS5 showcase and Astro came up, I was just like taken aback. That gasp and me going, oh, like that was real. I was just like, oh my god, he's back. Because that Rescue Mission was so fucking fun. I didn't expect them to bring him back. So the fact it wasn't, because we were like, is it in VR or is it not in VR? Or they're giving you the option, and we're not. They're just choosing to show it off not in VR because that will get a bigger audience to come in. For those who didn't get to play Risk Mission because it was in VR, so like giving you the option, like that would have been really interesting but cool. But no, after Rescue Mission, Astro is no longer in VR. So for the PS5 with Playroom, the gameplay is still very much the same. It's very very intricate. You get new little gadgets. You get like what is it, like a boomerang or something? Don't you get at some point?
You can turn into a ball. You can be in like a frog suit in one level.
There's the suits. Yeah. But there's also little abilities like you can like you can do like archery.
Oh, like other things. Oh yeah.
You have like a little bow and arrow at one point. I thought you had like a boomerang or something.
I think there's a boomerang.
I can't remember. Right. But a little Gatling gun that shoots little like balls or whatever, not actual fucking ammunition. It's still a kid's game after all. But yeah, there's the suits. This is the introduction to the suits. Instead of like powers for your controller, you get little suits. There's the monkey suit, the ball where you can roll around.
Ball, frog, and
the frog, and there's one more. What
was it? Oh, the ship, the rocket ship, and the space level.
So there's 4 different facets of the PlayStation, 4 different worlds, as it were. One's a beach theme, one's a snow theme. No, that's it. That is the beach theme. It's beach and snow. One is like cyberspace, all futuristic looking. One is
one's a forest.
One is the GPU jungle, and then there's the meadows, memory meadows. And then what we didn't really... It was so funny. I think this is now where we get to say... You made a joke about them dabbing or something, or you said something like flossing or dabbing. You go, where's the dab? Because you made a joke as we were doing our reaction. And my response to your joke, we completely missed that they showed off, like, in that initial announcement trailer in the showcase, they showed off at the very end of the trailer, like, the PlayStation 2 stuff, and we didn't see it, or even if we saw it, we didn't really know what we were looking at, because I was too busy focusing on your stupid joke, that we missed it, because otherwise what if we were like, oh shit, PlayStation 2, like, what? Like, why is that there? So it was a very big shock to us. We saw it later, I think.
Oh, I acknowledged it later because that's what I thought I saw, but I wasn't sure.
Not in the reaction.
Yeah, I didn't say it at that point when I saw it, but I was like, Is that what I saw? That's what it
I
looked
was
like,
too
but I wasn't
busy-
sure.
Yeah, I was too busy talking about your joke that I didn't see it. Really acknowledge it like mentally. But yeah, so every facet, every world focuses on one past PlayStation console. So Memory Meadows is PS1. The what's it called?
SSD
Speedway is PS2. The beach one, which I'm forgetting what it's called, is
Cooling Springs.
Yes, that's PS3. And then which one was PS4?
GPU Jungle.
GPU Jungle. Okay, so it was super sick. And again, yeah, the boss this time around, the ones you saved from the last game. That's what I'm saying. Little acknowledgements of that rescue mission was the last game. Is that here all your friends are around, but they're dressing up as different PlayStation characters, purely as reference. You don't get to interact with them too much. The ones you can actually
There's some you can interact with, but they don't you don't save them, but they're just kind of there in the world.
The ones you go up to, you can go up to, you can smack them and you get a little reaction out of them, a little interaction out of them. But that's about it. But yeah, you get like fucking Crash in the jungle, and you get in Memory Meadows you get like Tekken. You get like Hachi and Kazuya fighting each other.
That's in the jungle.
Oh, is it in the jungle?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I think it's near the end of the level.
Yeah.
In Memory Meadows, I think Sir Daniel's there. Like one of the bosses. Sir Daniel.
Yes. Dan's there. Death Stranding is there. Eco's there. So there's a ton. There's just they found cool ways to put in a bunch of again, a little bit of Planet gets represented in SSD Speedway.
I'll say, and they even put some. They reference some more obscure games like
really
VibRibbon in
really
SSD Speedway.
Obscure games, yeah. There's VibRibbon. Parappa shows up. There's a lot.
Yeah, a lot of things that you can like appreciate, like as you're just playing the level and stuff like that. If you're looking at the details as well, if you're paying attention to like the bots and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's really
Silent
cool.
Hill, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, stuff like that. But the cool thing too, the actual collectibles you can get are the artifacts, and those are like, that's the hardware. So you can get
it's all of like the
consoles,
hardware,
the smaller, like slimmer versions of those consoles. The consoles themselves, the original OG versions of each PS1, 2, 3, and 4 are the big things you get at the end of those levels. We'll get to that in a minute. But they do acknowledge, they acknowledge memory cards, they acknowledge the multi-tabs,
and stuff like
PS1 and 2 multi-tab, the PSP, the Vita,
the PS2 iToy.
The iToy. I think even the what was it called? The PS3 camera or the something like that.
Something like that, yeah. PlayStation Pocket or whatever.
The Pocket Station.
Pocket Station, yeah.
The Buzz controller. Like accessories and stuff. The light guns that they had for like PS1 and 2. All the different DualShocks, which was cool. Just a lot. There's again just so much, like the weird a lot of stuff people didn't even know existed, like the PSP like GPS thing, whatever the fuck that was. That was really silly. But one of the coolest things was every time you go up and you are about to pull the little wire to unleash the console, they do a recreation of like that intro, and it's so sick. It's so fucking sick.
Was I there with you when you played it the first time? I don't remember.
Our first time was the playthrough.
Because
the playthrough on VidGames was our first blind. For most of that shit. If not, we didn't play it off camera.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
We did after, of course. I think maybe not. I'm not sure.
I was going to say was like I think that when I saw the PS2 startup thing, I think I might have cried a little because it was just so nostalgic. I was just like, oh my God.
That was me for PS1. I came very close. You can kind of hear my voice. Every time I think about it, it's like it's so cool. But because they make it like it's a big like a monument, like it's a fucking like
and they even recreate like the menus, like the startup menus.
That was the coolest thing
as well,
because they have like the bubbles for PS1, and then you see like the rainbow like sketchy like stuff for like the text,
And then with PS2 they have the big things like for like the time or whatever when you go in the options and whatnot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like,
You have the swirling like orbs.
Mm-hmm.
But having those like
PS3
the towers,
is like the menu.
Menu, and if you look behind,
icons
you see the icons. That was cool. The PS4,
the blue startup screen.
Yeah,
and with like the wave. Yeah,
but they like integrated it like into the sky. So,
yeah,
like,
they put in like the skybox. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really sick. But the coolest thing too, even after that, when you do everything, it's like, oh wait, there's a little more, and it was so
the end game.
It was so sick.
Oh my god!
Recreating the demos was amazing, and like, I don't have an attachment to demo 1 because that was before I think I was even born, or like right at the cusp of like around the time I was born, because I'm a '95 kid. So, I think PlayStation itself might have come out in '94, like late '94 in Japan, if not like early '95, but I'm sure it was '94. Demo 1, I'm not sure when that came out. It was either '94 or '95, so it just predates me. So I never knew. The only demos I knew of were PlayStation Underground. So if they referenced that shit, I would have cried straight up.
I think when the T-Rex would attack with like the discs and stuff, I think we thought that on the cover of those discs was Underground or something.
Yeah, no, but they're just
generic.
Yeah. But yeah, so the coolest thing was for one of the earliest, because it's a tech demo, and that's why they did it. Because Astro's Playroom is a tech demo, they went back and acknowledged the earliest demos for the PlayStation 1. And so one of the earliest tech demos was showing a fully rendered orange T-Rex that you could like... It's just stomping around doing some animations in a black void, and you can just move the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And for '94, that shit was revolutionary. Mm-hmm. So you fight the fucking T-Rex, and the black screens, the black bars come in and make it all like, you know.
You hear the stomps, and then it just out of the shadows just appears, and like then it's like, all right, now it's fighting time.
It was sick,
and it's in its original like PS1 looking like appearance.
They
from
did
that demo.
I love it. Well, yeah, they did such a fucking good job at like making the models as accurate as you can possibly get to, because everyone always tries for indie games and what have you and God bless them, you know, they're trying to, you know, recreate that magic where like they always focus on the N64 era. You would be hard-pressed to find a fucking indie game or any even bigger budgeted game that does throwbacks to, you know, PS1 stuff, like Crash. I mean, God bless Crash's soul. Every time they do, like, retro Crash skin, like in fucking Nitro Field or, like, Crash 4, it looks good. The colors are pretty much right. They try to get the details, but it never looks exact. I think the closest, like, Crash ever got, on a brief little tangent, was like Naughty Dog having to redo Crash 1 for Uncharted 4. It's about as accurate as you can get to what the PS1 games looked like for their time. But getting a model down with like the weird warbliness the PlayStation 1 would like produce on the models and the texture like kind of popping like that, they nailed that. They recreated that for the T-Rex. That shit was awesome. Like, you had to have... If you know, you know. If you were there, then you know. And, like, I don't know. It was just sick. Like, again, other PS1 or, like, indie things don't really... They can get it down for N64 inspired shit, but, like, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything or anyone that tries to recreate PS1 stuff as accurately as possible. And Asobi did it. It was really sick. Later, it goes into like a more modern fight.
Yeah, and then
he becomes like a robot dinosaur.
I love that the transition is that you beat it up enough times and it falls down. You think you won, and then it rises back up and it becomes like a modern Astro Bot version of that T-Rex.
Yeah,
it's really fucking cool. And then the fight goes on, and then you fight it again.
You throw trophies at his face, like
at the end you throw
actual
the
PlayStation trophies.
It's so fucking good. It's so epic. I love it.
But we went this long. I'm surprised we went this long. I was gonna try and reference him in Rescue Mission, but Kenny Young is so fucking good. Kenneth C.M. Young, the composer, Phenomenal fucking music. In general, the music is really good in Astro Bot as a whole. A lot of stuff gets reused over the course of these games. In terms of music and, I mean, general assets and things, because, you know, from PS4 to PS5, not a huge graphical leap, so you can, like, since those consoles share a lot of the same innards and what have you, you can just, using the same engine, all that stuff means you can unify a lot of different shit, and so you can just bring a lot of assets and things over, so you can just reuse stuff, which they definitely take advantage of. We'll get to that by Astro Bot PS5. But, the music is really fucking good, and every time a new song pops up, I get so, like, pumped, because there's only so many times I can listen to fucking like,
Papaya.
before Papaya, don't start with that. That, like, I love that song. It's a very fun song. It's a very good song. It's a short song, but it's reused in a bunch of different shit. I've heard it a lot. That when something new like GPU Jungle comes up, it's so fun. It has lyrics, and there's like the actual GPU like little representation like bot in the background who's just part of the background. You can't interact with them. Is singing the song. Like, come on, it's so good.
If you find little secret rooms, you can find the lyrics.
You can find the lyrics. That's so sick. And two, he did an interview with some article, and he showed, or it was maybe a PlayStation blog, I can't remember, but he talked about and showcased demos of the progression of that song, and it started out something way fucking different, because it did go more jungly and just generic, like and just like, you know, that's a good jungle fucking anyway, but it's just, you know, it started out very like very jungle, almost DK sounding, like just very jungly, and then he eased up on it and threw in some riffs that kind of sounded like what the riffs that would actually, you know, it was lyricless at first. Then he introduced, like, oh, I should put some lyrics in this, I guess, and that's what he kind of did. And then he refined the way, because that's him singing too, by the way. That's him. And he just threw a robotic filter over his voice. So the filter and the way he sang it was a little different, and then some of the lyrics were different, and then turning it into a song about what the GPU does was cool, and so he refined the lyrics into making about the GPU singing to you, and then from there, the riffs and what we know the song to be started to form, and then it had like 3 iterations after that, then it became the song. So sick. But the coolest thing too, one of the coolest tracks is, again, when you fight the original PS1 Dino, because it's the boss theme, again, reused from Rescue Mission, but it sounds like demo music from a PS1 disc. Like, he found the right instruments and the right synths, and like to make it feel like it was made back then. That's awesome. What are your thoughts on Playroom beyond that? I think we kind of, again, covered everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, I love all the references to all the different characters from many different games. Even just the fact that they use Playroom to look back on and show off all these cool and crazy things that PlayStation has done over the years up to that point. And it's just, again, like Rescue Mission, it's just a fun time. It's just, you know, if you like platformers and you like semi-open world platforms where you can just kind of go around, do whatever, it's really fun. It's really cool, and like seeing all the references is like, you really, like, the references are like, if you get it, you enjoy it more, but you don't have to necessarily understand all of PlayStation's history to even like get it.
If you don't, well, because
if you don't, it's just like, again, it's just like Rescue Mission, but you know, it's just a tech demo.
It's really funny. We'll probably get into this a little later too. I'll just kind of sow the seeds here. Hopefully we remember to talk about it later. But with how much games have grown and how many video games we have across all the different consoles that have ever come out, you know, till now, that we've got so much to fall back on, because for its time, kids' games, not just because the space, the social space, the cultural space, and just kind of everything, the censorship space, was all in a different, vastly fucking different spot back then when I was growing up. and we didn't have very many. What fucking when Spyro and Crash and like Tekken were coming out, we only had like Super Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong or fucking Pong, older arcade games that were getting ported to consoles to fall back on for our video game history. It was only about maybe 20 years, if even that, to fall back on, which is still pretty impressive in its own right, but games were still primitive in that time. Everyone was still trying to figure it out. And at one point it was even seen as a cultural fad, even. Like, remember, parents, no to video games, and they only rot your brain. So that was the whole point being, though, that, like, kids' games were very much pointed at kids because these franchises and these games were just still up and coming. But for something like Astro Bot now, still pointed very much at kids, but that kind of shit is pointed at us. Because, like you're saying, if you know, you know. If you know what memory cards are, because you lived through that. If you know what, not the DualShock, but the PlayStation controller, which was the first one without sticks, you know. That's what I grew up with. But if you grew up, in the 2000s, maybe you played PS3 first. Maybe you played Call of Duty or Tekken 6 or fucking Uncharted. So you have the DualShock 3, and you know that. From Astro Bot coming out, or Playroom, coming out in 2020, and you're a kid that grew up, like, you were born in maybe, like, 07 or, like, 03, you're still gonna fucking get it. But even if you're a kid and you're like 8 years old and you were born in 2012 or whatever, you're still gonna be like, oh, the PS4 or whatever. It's still very fresh in your mind, but it's like, oh, that's a reference to that. I get that.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm saying, though, is that, like,
and if you don't get any of it, it's your crash course on PlayStation's history.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I was gonna say. Is that Playroom is essentially like, even if you don't necessarily understand the references or get what comes from what, it's still a fun game in general just to play. So the references afterward, once you do know and you revisit it, then it's like, oh, cool. Then they're referencing that. That's awesome. And
like I said,
you at least acknowledge that it's like, it's cool that they were able to, that they're allowing people to be like, hey, remember this?
Yeah.
So that's what I really love about this and the next one. Because
it's for everyone. It's like, in terms of those hardware, references, because the video game references will continue in Astro Bot PS5, and those are sick, and a lot of them are, some are sort of obscure, but they're still very much set in, like, okay, here's Crash, here's Spyro, here's Devil May Cry, again, here's Resident Evil, like, those are still around, so you'll know them. VidRibbon is among, like, the more obscure ones. Again, I feel like Ken Icarus was, like, one of the first online to really, like, educate us on games like that. Because it wasn't... if I didn't hear it from him, I wouldn't have a Japanese PS1 or a PS2. I have VidRibbon on PS1, a physical copy. So, that's super cool. And then seeing that be represented in Astro is, like, the coolest thing. But in terms of the hardware stuff, like, yeah, it's kind of for everyone, or,
I think the hardware stuff's more so for those, like Carrie said, those that grew up with that generation and had all that stuff.
But everyone can still appreciate it because, again, if you know, you know. For even the most obscure, again, like that damn GPS, if you actually had one, then you'd be like, oh fuck, like what? They remember?
They acknowledge that this exists?
Pocket Station's pretty, like, up there with, like, it's Japan exclusive, but if you know, you know. So, like, it's not super duper obscure, but maybe not everyone knows about it. Some of the light guns, I was like, oh, that's cool. I expect it, I mean, I never had...
the light guns or, like, the move controllers or whatever. Like...
The move controller was cool, obviously, we had those for Beat Saber and stuff, so that was a more recent accessory that we were like, oh, sick. Of course they're going to, acknowledge that. But yeah, like the multi-tap, the first, like the PS1 multi-tap, which we never had, but when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, it's a boomerang. But having the PS2 multi-tap, I was like, whoa, shit, we got fucking Nitro Car, we've got Rayman Arena, we got fucking, like, let's go, dude.
Yep. Oh my god, dude.
It's crazy. But yes, again, this is going to become the start of, because it was a tech demo and it was the perfect chance to do all of that. That pretty much meant that now Astro was really integrated into I was say PS1, but PlayStation. So now, almost an hour in, it won't be timed right, but for us, it just hit an hour. Depending on the editing, it's not going to be quite an hour, but anyway. So, Astro Bot PS5, the most recent one, again, had no fucking idea they were going to make it. We just saw it in a, PlayStation State of Play? And at this point, you know, we met Fez and we were hanging out with him and everything, and from the Rumble days, I say as if it happened like eons ago, for Crash Team Rumble.
The days of yore.
Yeah, but what was it, last year or something? Or was it fucking earlier this year? No. It was like, what? It was last year, because it won Game of the Year. But it was all within the same year, so it was fucking last year, right?
Yes, it was last year.
Okay, so Jesus Christ, it's September 2025. I'm forgetting everything.
Time is irrelevant. Nothing is real.
Yeah. This is Bo Burnham. So nothing is real.
Nothing is real.
Yeah, had no idea they were going to do another. But in that trailer, we saw that the bots were back. You have to rescue. So now it's a blend of the two, of the previous two that came before it. Astro Bot PS5 is where you rescue your friends again, because they bring back, the alien, or Nebulax as he's now named, who's doing a bunch of shit. Takes their little, I don't know what the hell even was he. A little component of the PS5.
Yeah, that in the thumbnail, the thing he's holding.
Yes, the thing. We're looking at the thumbnail.
I don't even know.
Little computer chip. I don't fucking know what he is.
Something important
little
to the PS5.
friend boy. He takes little friend boy, little robot chip friend boy.
It's the thingy that's also in the
little
dome thing in Playroom.
In Playroom, yeah.
But I think it's like a CPU or something like that. I don't remember what.
Anyway.
A component of the PS5 that's important that you have to get back.
Alien comes, fucks shit up. We have to go and kick his ass. And also, all the bots get captured again. Or just stranded or whatever. They're, again, back into really weird, silly scenarios, and you have to just go and kick them in the ass and you collect them. But now everything's blended because, again, the bots that you had to go and rescue weren't dressed up as anything. They were just all generic little bots in Rescue Mission. They dress up as, characters, not super detailed, but just little features so that you know this is the character they're referencing.
Yeah, they kind of dress up as some of the characters and are in scenarios that mimic the games that are referencing and stuff like that.
But in this one, as we saw in the trailer, they look damn near as close as possible to what those characters actually look like. And it's super sick how detailed they are. So now it's about the games, less of the hardware. The hardware is still there, and the end game takes advantage of remember the hardware and here's all that shit. But now we've got a full-fledged, giant, proper Astro Bot game. Because, like I said before, Rescue Mission was actually quite short. Just a few worlds, 4 to 5 levels per world, then the boss, and then you're done. Unless you unlock the chameleon challenges. Playroom is just 4 big worlds with a bunch of references and things to grab. There's also puzzle pieces we forgot to mention, which unlock a cool mural that shows
the mural of
the different decades and everything, different eras.
The consoles,
lifespans, and different little things about them, and the bots doing silly stuff in association with games or just things of those eras. Cool stuff. But here, not only do the puzzle pieces come back and you can get things with them and unlock stuff with them, but the bots are now doing that thing again where not only do you rescue them, but then they also they're acting out the special ones anyway, because you still get generic bots, but of course you're in it for the references with how many crazy fucking IP they reference with these special bots. So you get 8 levels practically per 8 normal little levels or so, 7 to 8 levels per world, the boss, and then a bunch of different, because now the world map is more interactive. It goes back to a world map-ish setting, the way Rescue Mission had, except that it's kind of like a weird Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2 situation, but instead of being on a linear path, you can just roam around, you're on the controller comes back. but as a proper character, not you waggling because it's still on VR. So
it's a controller ship.
It's a controller ship, and so on that little controller ship, you get to like move around and run around the actual world maps, run around, float around, whatever, and different little things will happen on the map. So you can like go after like it's almost like a non-linear version. I said like the previous Astro games, or what I say before? No, like Galaxy 1 and 2. It's more like new Super Mario Brothers in a way, like U or something, where like you have different little events that happen, like Nabbit or something else, and you have to go back and like kind of like that interactive things on the world map. There's like an asteroid.
I was gonna say for that would be more so like 3D world, where it's like
true. You're right.
It's like it's non-linear. Yes. You can walk around and stuff like that. You can skip a whole level entirely if you want to. But,
yeah. But little extra things happen. So like an asteroid will show up out of nowhere, or like little things will come up in a circle. You have to go and like collect them. And when you do little things like that, you unlock extra little challenge levels. There are the fucking symbol levels. I don't know what they're really called, like officially, but every so often you'll save these little dudes that are just Banjo-Kazooie rareware ass like little personifications of the like, PlayStation symbols.
Yeah, it's like 4 levels that are challenge levels, and I think they're just named after the symbol themselves. So it's like triangle challenge, whatever.
Yeah. Cross challenge, not
cross challenge or whatever. But it's
they're hard. They're tough.
Some of them are pretty tough. But once you get through them, they're very short, and they only have one bot at the end.
Yeah.
And they're all of them have special bots as well. So again, it's just like more references, cool.
Yeah. But that's kind of the gameplay. Again, a similar-ish loop to like Rescue Mission, but just expanded tenfold. Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of worlds and so many. Again, new music, which I'm just like, oh fuck yes! I love when they like the casino level is so sick, so awesome. That one desert level where they first introduced that iron ball power up, and like Lara Croft's one of the characters you can get and stuff. It looks so. They make it look so. They present it so simply, like, oh, you do a bit of platforming at the very beginning, then there's a bridge to the end, and then the bridge collapses, and there's a whole. You fall into this ditch of like, here's the level. Now platform all around to get to the top. That music is so cool. Because I forgot to kind of mention in talking about Kenny's music is that he does this really cool thing, again, trying to elicit the very, like, humble beginnings of, like, 90s platformer characters with attitude. So you think back to Crash's music, you think back to Spyro's music, because Stuart Copeland knocked that shit out of the park with making it feel not so medieval, because there's a hint of, like, a medieval aesthetic to Spyro's look, but very fantasy feeling, but modern, and that's, like, the quote-unquote joke, the humor, is that those two kind of clash. It's like this, like, grand fantasy feel, but like but he's got attitude, so it's got like these rock elements, and he comes from obviously the Police, so he has this like rock background of like the drums and the guitars, so it's very modern and very for its time, right? Astro kind of hits that because it's very futuristic, very techno, very synthy, but then it has like urban, like fucking turntables and like a little bit of a hip hop edge to it sometimes, and I'm like, that's awesome. So like levels like that one, that is the new track for that game. It's not a reused track from one of the previous 2 games, and it sounds so sick. It's one of my favorite songs of like the whole game.
I remember the one song that in one of the desert, it's the genie one. That one just sounds like Shantae.
So Shantae coded, just straight up. If you like, if you just like closed your eyes and didn't think of it as Astro, and then just imagine Shantae like fucking 16-bit ass running around hair whipping, same thing, same exact feel. I wonder if that was like part of the inspiration for that track. It sounds not even like a coincidence. It is just so Shantae coded. It's insane. But again, a really good track as well. But yeah, no, the music is really cool. The new levels and the new aesthetics that come up are super sick as well.
Even the new power-ups as well for Astro to use is really cool.
Yeah.
Especially with how they utilize them in some levels and whatnot.
Well, I mean, fuck, we'll get there. But one of the things that it's sort of a nitpick, But again, like I said before, I was kind of teeing it up to make this point now. But like, with there being little to really, little updates in like graphical stuff, very little to that's different. My point being about PS4 and PS5 reusing assets, same engines and everything, is that they reuse a lot of stuff. Like I said before, having a lot of that same music. There's still some music from. There's some music from Rescue Mission, very specific tracks that get reused in Playroom, which come back in the PS5 Astro game. Those exact tracks, but then a lot of there's other tracks that they picked from Rescue Mission that were only in Rescue Mission, didn't go into Playroom, that they reused in Astro PS5. Like I think Papaya comes back, I believe.
It does. I forget which level.
I don't think it was in Playroom.
Not that I can remember.
Oh, the spooky one, that cool little spooky beat, that was not in Playroom, but it's in Astro PS5. That is why, specifically, because I voted for the Game Awards. I've been doing that for the last few years. I also co-stream it. But, like, when I was voting last year, I voted Stellar Blade over Astro Bot for the music. Specifically because, playing devil's advocate and being fair, they reuse quite a lot. I was really hoping for Astro PS5, and now if there is a new Astro after Astro PS5, I'm really hoping that they have more of a budget to be able to produce more original stuff. So they're a little less lenient on reusing so many enemy types or music or things like that. Reusing like Astro and all the bots as their models, those type of assets, totally fine. But like, there's only so many times I can be like, okay, this guy again, this enemy that kicks the soccer ball at you, or fucking these goopy motherfuckers that chew on their little fucking projectile then spit it at you, or like this music that I've heard in like all three games. It's just things like that. It's a nitpick, but I'm getting a little tired of it, just a little bit. It's still sick, those music tracks are still good, but I'm hoping there's a lot more uniquity in later Astro stuff, because while there's still plenty in Astro PS5, it's not enough for me to go, oh, it's like a brand new experience. It still is for the most part, but again, they're reusing a lot of stuff in various different ways. The plot is like Rescue Mission. The bots are a mash of their role in Rescue Mission and their role in Playroom. So, after a while, when you play them all back to back to back, you see like how my critical mind saying this, like, less original they get, but there's still plenty of new and cool shit they do that still makes the experiences great and very, very fun, which is why, of course, Astro deserved to get Game of the Year, because it's such a fun platformer, and it does, again, so much, because, again, also for its time, which is still very current, that back when Astro's Playroom came out on PS5, like I said, we were in COVID, so it was harder to experience Playroom right out the gate. But with this coming out like last year, now that we're kind of sort of out of that now, and we can like, it's easier to get a PS5 and stuff now. It's a physical game you can get. I've got, a physical copy, and you can get it digitally. However you want to get it, you can get it. It's very accessible, and it's a full first-party platformer from Sony, which they don't do very often anymore. And it's, again, one of those games that is a legacy game, because it celebrates so much of, like, obscure and well-known and classic and modern IP. Some of them not even really from PlayStation. Some of them have been on other consoles and other things, and some are third-party, and some are, like, really, really crazy, which I guess we'll get to now. I love the little Crash Bot, as always. Again, they reuse his like assets and his dance and everything, but you can do the dance with him. You have a very unique
it's a trophy.
little animation, and it's a trophy where, like, if you go up to him, you press down on the D-pad, and Astro can dance. You can cycle through, like, the dances that he usually does. Again, reusing animations. But when you go and do it around the general vicinity of the little Crash Bot, you do the dance with him. You do the Crash dance. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
I love that. I love that. They took the opportunity to when introducing more special bots and more references, they added little eggs and stuff where there's even more like special characters to get. And I like that one of the ones you can get. So one of the ones you can get from like the first area, I think it's before you enter the second world or something. It's where you get like Amaterasu and like Spyro. And other characters as well.
It was so funny because again around that time, certain things were happening around the space with certain third-party characters. Again, Crash for the longest time, even though he's been third-party since fucking and been on multi-platform more specifically since like Wrath of Cortex. So that's been Crash's life for over 20 years. He hasn't been exclusive to PlayStation since Naughty Dog, and more specifically since Crash Bash. Not only that, but then specifically with the whole Activision side for Crash and Spyro, like the whole Microsoft buyout happened, and so I was like, ooh, when I saw that they were doing more detailed bots, I was like, oh shit, we can get more detailed versions of Crash and Spyro. But then I was like, ooh, I don't know if they'll even have them there because they're not technically even PlayStation characters anymore. But no, thankfully they are so fucking integrated into PlayStation. Obviously, they helped build not just the PS1 as a console, but PlayStation as a brand. That, of course, they weren't going to leave them out. My boys. They weren't going to leave my boys out. But
and I like that for Spyro. They just
made
him.
Where I was expecting Crash, I didn't know if they were going to do something more with Spyro. So when, in my stream, it was a blind stream, when he showed up, I screamed.
I remember that.
Because I was like, oh my god. Like, they didn't forget him. And even too, I made a video recently about Crash and Spyro and how Spyro always feels second fiddle to Crash. So I didn't know what they were going to do, or if they were even going to bring Spyro specifically back. I felt Crash was a shoo-in.
Because even in Playroom, Spyro, the Spyro reference, he's a little toy figurine.
He's a little figurine.
Desk.
He's not even like an actual. Yeah. So for certain characters, like I can't even pronounce her fucking name, Okami dog.
Amaterasu, but yes.
And Spyro, again, finding them back to back. They aren't bots. They're bot-like. They're bot-like because there are robotic animals in Astro's world.
They just kind of made them
so they just made them that.
But with Spyro, they didn't even give him like the eyes like they did for Amaterasu.
It's just Spyro. Yeah, it's just Spyro.
And I love that. I love that when you like hit him and he like flames you. So, and if you walk around, he like flies behind you and stuff like that. Like he follows you around like the hub area.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I believe you saw that too, and you were like, "Oh, he follows you around."
Because the other animal characters, the other like,
because most of the other animal characters will also follow you around.
Yeah, which is really funny. But yeah, we'll just go through a few. You have your big heavy hitters. You got a bunch of, and it's not only one or one or two, because in like for example, Astro's Playroom, the Resident Evil representation, you have Jill and like Wesker. I think it's Wesker. Who's there? Yeah, because he's in like the lab coat, and then if you hit him, he looks like actual Wesker. If I remember right, anyway. But it's just a small diorama, right? So it's only like the two of them and like the dogs or something, or a zombie. But in Astro Bot PS5, you have like Chris and Leon. So there's multiple characters that can represent a series now. Of course, my dumb fucking, I would want like Coco or Cortex for Crash, or like Hunter or Sparks or something for Spyro. They give nothing to Spyro besides just him being there, which sucks. But just having the two of them there, they're of course the most iconic. It's their franchise is named after them, so it makes sense. But then having like fucking Klonoa, which was not in Playroom, so they went ahead and like just looked at like their whole fucking backlog and said, okay, reference that. To some degree, reference it. You have, of course, the God of War stuff, the Uncharted stuff, and we'll get to that later too. But you have, like, this is before the DLC. We have, like, Klonoa, we have Vibrant comes back. We have, thank God they referenced Polygon Man. I was like, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was expecting him.
That I wasn't expecting, because I was like, I was like, oh, the last time we saw this fucker was in PlayStation All Stars.
I was hoping, I didn't even say this during the Playroom talk, but I was hoping the final boss would be him.
It would have also made sense too if
because he was supposed to be the original mascot. So there's like no reference to him in Playroom. So here I was like, oh, it was that voxel whatever it's called level, and it has fucking Intelligent Cube, which I only know through the PlayStation Classic, which I have. Play it there. It's a very fun game, very fun puzzle game, very intricate, very tough, difficult puzzle game, but it's very fun. It has that. I think it's just the three. It's him, or that. It's the whole game as a whole because it's so small of a like a little arena, and that's the whole game is like on this little arena that like that entire. It's a whole personification of the game. It's not like the guy you run around as the bot. It's the game.
Yeah, it's like a black bot body with like the cube on the head, and the little guys on like,
and like the game's being played on the top. Yeah. It's so cool. So it's that. It's Vibribbon with Vibri, and then it's Polygon Man, and I was like, that's so sick. These dudes are obscure as fuck. So
but are they obscure as Mr. Mosquito?
That was so fucking fun.
That was so out of left field.
I only know of games like Incredible Crisis and fucking Mr. Mosquito. I only know through Game Grumps.
Oh my god.
So to see that in Astro Bot, I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, they acknowledge this?
Incredible Crisis, I'm surprised I even got that. Because I looked at him, and then when his glasses come off, his eyes are so tiny, I'm like, what's his name? Like, Teneo? I'm like, is that fucking him? Is that fucking Incredible Crisis? Like, what
is that in your way?
Yeah, in your way. And I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. But then, of course, come the DLC and then the Christmas update was the fucking coolest level ever. Because we got motherfucking Tomba, Rayman, fucking Gex, Croc. I was like, oh, let's fucking go.
No worms.
Worms, but
and then you had Spider-Man and Miles
Morales. That was so cool.
They had them like proper.
Because in Playroom, they just have a generic bot doing like the kind of upside down web pose. That was about as much, because again, it's about as much as they could do then, but it's them proper with the suits and everything. And then they're on top of the console, the PS5, in like the main hub. So when you go up, you can climb up to the PS5. You could do this before they were even added in, but you can go up there when they are there, and then you can smack them off, and they fall, and then they just whip back up. It's so cool. That's even not talking about like, again,
how they utilize the gacha for that.
Yes, it's deep-rooted references. It's deep-rooted references in the appearance of these characters, them even being in this game like represented. Then it's them where you can walk up to them in the hub and smack them for an interaction.
Yeah, and they do
some
like
of
a
them
thing
tied to trophies, like Crash or like what's Yakuza.
Yakuza, man.
What's his fucking? I threw out his name.
Kiryu,
yeah.
I forgot his name for a second too.
I saw his face. I forgot the name. Where some trophies are tied to interacting with them more than once or just once. But let me see. Some of them, like, you have to have gotten their gacha item first, I think, and then you can interact with them proper, because they're in a thinking pose about like, oh, I need a gacha item, like when you first free them. Or, well, for some, like Spyro, he doesn't get a gacha, so you can interact with him like pretty much like immediately. But with other characters, you can get really cool interactions with them, and it's just something from their game, something from them that they do, that you would recognize if you know those characters or whatever. Leon's is really funny because he's trying to like figure out a puzzle, and he's like, "Hey, zombie, no, like get away from me! I'm trying to do with him." Really funny.
Or Jill trying to hide from the dogs.
Yeah, that was really funny. Claire trying to go through the fucking keys and like the heart keys behind her. That was really funny. I didn't really get it. That was before I started. I did the Resident Evil binge.
Yeah, seeing those references.
I didn't quite get it at first. I got the general concepts of those things, but I couldn't really appreciate them like I can now until after we went through our entire Resident Evil binge. So I thought it was super cool, and the fact that RE2 remake is like my favorite. So I thought that was really sick. Rayman with the fucking Rayman was so cool because it got me like again right in the feels, because they went straight for Rayman 1, which I can really appreciate, because Rayman 1 gets so overlooked, where they were like, okay, he does the wind up punch, he throws, the way the tether looks is the exact way it looked in the first game. He uses his helicopter hair. It's so sick. I think the only thing that bot was missing was the big nose. They gave the worm bot a nose.
Yeah, they make it look like a fucking suit.
Yeah, but not
which
Rayman.
looked funny.
So it was really weird. He looks like he's just... It's the normal bot head with the Rayman hair on top, but there's no nose, so I'm like, he looks a little naked without the nose. He looks incomplete.
Does it have his giant schnoz?
Yeah. His big honker. But, yeah, no, that was so cool. I was just like, having all these characters, again, these big platformer characters that were from the PS1 era, and some of them have gotten, like, remasters or ports. Not full-on remakes like Crash or Spyro, but, like, Croc is back in the space, Tomba is back in the space, Gex is back in the space. That's why they're here, which is super cool. And before I Ninja, that'd have been so sick. Some more Argonaut representation, for Malice for no reason. But it's just so fucking cool. I'm trying to think of like other characters. All of the ones that were represented in Playroom come back. I'm not sure if all of them do, but most do.
Most do.
Sir Dan's back. Pyramid Head, of course, is back. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, in the DLC, they actually brought in Cloud and Sephiroth in proper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
They only had the sword.
Yeah, they only had his Buster Sword.
Yeah. Again, whatever weird, but that's just Squeenix in general. They hold weird ass right stuff. Like the fact we even got Squeenix stuff in Smash was interesting. But then they go out of their way to go, hey, certain franchises are going to get represented much more than that, and a lot of them are pretty modern. I think the only they start off really cool with Ape Escape, and then so every time you beat a boss, there's only like 5 or so, 5 worlds, 5 worlds.
5. So
there's 5 worlds, but there's a bunch to do in them. But every time you beat the boss, you get another special bot, and so it's I keep wanting to say Spike. I keep wanting to say someone else from Ape Escape with an ape, and that's really super cool because like, oh shit, Ape Escape, awesome. Sony Japan ties right there, Japan Studio ties, so awesome. You beat the other boss in World 2, you get fucking Kratos, so it's like, okay, that's sick. But then they give you an extra bonus level that is just, hey, yo, we're going to mimic this game's fucking gameplay, and, like, we're just going to give love to this franchise.
Yeah, we're just straight up going to recreate, like, the franchise, like...
It's so fucking cool!
The mechanics of, like, the game.
It's so fucking cool! Dude, in the trailer, they showed off a tease of it when Kratos throws the axe and Astro tries to pick it up and he can't. And I just thought it was a gag. I'm like, okay, that's funny. I thought it was just a special interaction with him. I didn't really think much more was going to come from it than like, oh, the big boys get their big representation. And of course, Kratos is going to it's still very, very relevant. So of course he's going to have some more than just maybe that simple reference. But I didn't think it was going to be, we're going to recreate that game's franchise and like, or that franchise and like the gameplay of it. Because again, blind reaction. We were streaming it day one, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because then you see the thing form, the level, and then like 10 or so fucking like 8 to 10 bots, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, and all of them are special bots.
yeah. And I was like, oh god. And so we go in, and then Spike does the thing where he tosses the net, and then you turn into something like, okay, okay. And then we go into it, I'm like, we are just playing Ape Escape.
Yeah, you just heard into the character, and then you're like, okay, now you're essentially just playing Ape Escape, and the music changes to like
moments like that. That's still Kenny again. In moments like that, recreating the music, it's so fucking cool because it sounds straight up like it's from. It sounds like they just took an MP3 from Ape Escape, but that's a completely. And the cool thing is, they still do their own Astro spin on it. So it's harder. It's wait. Oh, could you hear that?
What the fuck was that?
It went. Jesus. I touched my neck and like it's almost sweaty. Ew, it was nasty. Sorry. Anyway, I hope that I didn't get cut. The mic probably caught that.
I don't know, whatever. But like,
I'm so fucking sweaty. I hate it.
Seeing just the games, the games that they chose to represent at the end of those levels.
Oh, sorry,
have them recreate it, and the music as well.
But yeah, no, like the music.
It's so good.
No, well, I mean it is, but like, it's a little less noticeable about the Astro part of it in the music, because like in the Ape Escape stuff, it feels very much again like it's just straight Ape Escape, and there's a little bit of like the Astro quality in there, but you hear it more in some of the other tracks with like with the boy.
That's I was about to say, yeah.
The boy drop.
That's my favorite. I think of the music recreations, my favorite's the God of War one, just because
this
of that
is so
drop.
weird to
It's
say,
so funny.
but that was 2024. We're in 2025. It is weird to say. Oh God, time is moving by way too fast. That even modern God of War feels like it's a little nostalgic, because when I heard I'm like, that threw me right the fuck back to E3 2016. They opened the show with the God of War music and dropped, because no one knew that God of War was going to come back and be so like revamped and almost rebooted as it was to a degree. I say reboot because it's not quite. There's references to the Greek early God of War in the modern shit. Anyway, point being that God of War came back for PS4, and so no one knew, and like just that was such a cool reveal for the start of E3 2016. Such an epic fucking E3 with Crash coming back, Death Stranding, RE7, and like a bunch of other crazy shit that happened like in that E3. That like I love that opening presentation, so that music is very cool, and that was fucking nearly 10 years ago. So to hear it in Astro, it's like, that's fucking sick. But with the funny like boy drop, they make a lot of they do a couple little, they do some memeage here and there. There's a little bit of like, there's boy, there's of all the Metal Gear stuff, they acknowledge fucking Revengeance, so you get Nanomachine's son, which is funny. You get, of course, Jill's always going to be known as the master of unlocking, so that has to stay. They love their memes, their little references, their silly little goofs and gaffs. So that's pretty cool. Uncharted just sounds so fucking sick, the music to that one. And then Loco Roco was a weird pull, because I thought we were going to go PS1, 2, 3, 4, which like we kind of do, but it's more so PS1, PS like 4 with God of War, PS3 with Uncharted. Then you get the PS kind of P era with Loco Roco, which was a trip because I've never played that game, and I'm like, what is happening? And the music is just like, that's where again the music just straight up, because it's all very Japanese coded and very like that silly type of like weird oddball music. But I'm like, I like it. It's really weird, but I didn't grow up with this shit. But like, it's cool. The gameplay is insane, so I'm just like, what is happening in this one? And then Horizon, which was super cool, and I mean, Hera liked watching me go through that one because she was like, "Oh shit, that's cool." The little references and things, the big machines and stuff, that was really sick.
Yeah, I also like that even in those levels too, they have like mini boss fights and stuff like that. Like
they
for Ape Escape, for Ape Escape, the last special bot you get is Spectre. In the God of War one, you fight like a giant version of like the pig enemy and stuff like that. I don't know about Uncharted.
Uncharted was weird. I don't remember any fucking giant ghoul specter thing.
Actually, was there
literal specter?
Actually, I think the Loco Roco one is the only one that doesn't have a fight.
Because it's not. Yeah, because it's not
just
that
like,
kind of game.
Yeah.
But then you get what that like the T-Rex comes back.
The T-Rex comes back again. Is it the same one?
I think it's a different one.
I think it's a different one. I think it was designed to look more so like the other animal bots, like from Horizon.
But because I asked her and I was like, was this in fucking? Because that was my first blind stream, my first stream on Astro Bot. I don't actually think I did one afterward. I think I just did the day one stream. It was blind. Then I started to play the whole game because I was thinking about whether I was going to stream it or not. But then I was just going to show Aaron a little bit of it. But then we started playing it. We beat the whole game in like one day after that. In one night. Because we just kept playing. And she wanted to genuinely see like all the references and stuff. So a lot of those for me, seeing other characters, again, other bots and stuff. But then playing through those levels was blind for the first time. In that one night playing with her. Because I was like, yeah, since Aloy is there, there's probably going to be some like PlayStation rip with, or rather like with her, like a level I think I had already seen that was a thing. I might have gotten spoiled on it or something. I didn't know when it was going to show up, so I think that was what it was. She wanted me to play until we saw it, which was the last one. So I was like, ah, crap. I played through the whole game. It was still fun, though. It was cool. But we played it all off stream, which was really funny. So I was like, oh, shit. And she was like, oh, shit. All the cool things I recognize. But yeah, no, like, Astro Bot PS5 is really cool. It's got really crazy levels. Really, the time trial stuff I never liked, so having to go through it was like okay, but it got really frustrating. I again gonna be a little bit sort of controversial here with this opinion. I don't know if I really care for the fact that the final, before all the DLC dropped, in the main story, the final challenge, which is a big fucking fuck off level, trying to like get through this entire fucking thing. Only for the very end, the last special bot, there's an extra special bot. So I'm like, oh, this has to be some crazy cool reference. Maybe they'll even go a little meta. I was hoping they would go a little meta, and because it was very PlayStation Japan or Japan Studio coded and with Asobi and all that background, I thought the bot was going to be like Shuhei Yoshida. Or something really cool and silly and meta.
Would have been better, honestly.
It's Chop Chop Master Onion. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I do like it. Some more little Parappa stuff there, which is still Japan Studio coded or whatever, you know. But I was like, we already had Parappa and Gemmerlamy, so like, okay. It was weird. I think they should have went with something else. Either some other obscure ass thing, maybe like the T-Rex, or maybe like something else.
Something, yeah.
That was more PlayStation coded, like generally speaking.
I also kind of felt the same way for the upgrade gauntlet at the end of the DLC, because the last character for that one was Sephiroth.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like,
yeah. But
like to touch up on like the final boss, holy fuck, it's so cool, because it starts off with you and all your friends on the fucking accessories and shit, and you're going to war with the fucking Nebulax.
All set to some. This is the one.
And it does the Playroom thing where it goes through from like PS1 up to PS5.
All to the track
so
of.
Cool.
Kenny didn't do this one, but all to the track of like some Sega game, some Sega space game. It was like the track itself, because they had to put it in the corner. It wasn't that he didn't recompose it or anything. They just took that track. I guess because it sounded epic or something. But it's from some Sega game. I was like, what the fuck? But it was a cool sequence. It was super sick. And then the fight itself was way different than... Because you can't...
It's very unique
the VR, the Rescue Mission fight against him was really cool, because he has his own... has his own headset. And because it's from the ship. The ship has a VR headset. And then you having your own headset, you're watching all that shit go down where he steals the part... Or The ship blows up, but he steals the VR headset. And then when you go up against him, not only does he have a headset, he has his own fucking controller, which you can also take control of. And I forgot to say that real quick about Rescue Mission, is that I kept saying you can see your controller, but they train you throughout the game to put your controller up to like, whenever you start a level, every time you start a level, you put it up to the little like glowy bit so you can like... It's a way to recalibrate your controller, but they found a way to like subtly like make that into a gameplay mechanic. Because sometimes when you're swiveling around and doing the calibration, that the positioning of your controller might be different. So there's always a thing of like set it up in front of you so you can recalibrate it. So they turn that into a fucking main mechanic where like... To start every level, you have to do that. To unlock the chest to give you the controller gadgets, you have to like go up to the box and then like put your controller in the box. Sometimes for like walls that bar you off, you have to put the controller into like a little slab, a little tablet. So they teach you that throughout the whole thing, and then by the time of the boss, the fight with Nebulax, you have to make him drop his controller, and then you can like put the controller into the big controller, and then you've got the big controller, and it's so cool. But that's that fight. They take some cues from that fight, I think, and put it into, recontextualize into this one, but it's a whole different fight. It feels like King Boo's fight in Sunshine.
Yeah, because
it has a fucking
he does a roulette wheel under his little UFO ship,
it's really funny.
And it's really funny because he can just fuck with you. Where if it lands near the little skull symbol or something, he can just scroll it over to land on that, and then it's like, oh, you chose this one.
Yeah, it's very cool, very silly. That fake out death was weird with Astro, where he tries to grab. There's a black hole. Nebulax tries to grab onto Astro, and all the bots go and make a ladder to grab him to pull him back. But Astro's like, I need to save my friends. They're so cool. So he lets go, and it's like, what the fuck? This is sad as shit. Only for him to be all just merely damaged, and then you just have to repair him, which is cool because again they teach you that because of the repairing every time you get a component back from the PS5, you have to repair it. There's this sequence where you have to use either some motion bits or some buttons, little button prompts, and you actually have to it's oddly satisfying. Is it what you ever? It's like a stimming thing. It's like a really weird satisfying cleaning stuff and making the things clink and clang together. It's really funny.
It's definitely part of the whole oddly satisfying videos thing, where it's just kind of you don't know why. It's just very satisfying to do.
Yeah.
So and the fact they teach you that through the end of the end of levels when you get those components and stuff, and you repair them, and then at the very end when you have to repair Astro Bot and give him new parts and give him a new heart or something or whatever.
Heart. Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, he's fine. And then you go through the end credits, and even that's so cool.
The credit sequence is cool, yeah. Plus, I found out you can replay that as its own separate quote-unquote level, and it's a good way to farm coins.
yeah. All three of those sections, you can replay those.
Yeah. Let's see. I feel like, is there anything else? There's one more topic I want to talk about.
Oh, there was also the secret world where it has all the other extra levels, and then it has the prize.
Felt very Mario coded. Okay. This isn't what I was going to say. I wanted to talk about next, but or save for last. But can we, Jesus, can we acknowledge the Italian plumber in the room and say that it's very weird? I mean, I know even we said it, but I hate that people are like, this is Sony's answer to Mario, and it's like, dude, I don't think we really need that. PlayStation has come and gone with so many different mascot adjacent characters that have represented different eras of PlayStation. Astro happens to be the current one right now. Yes, there's a lot of gameplay things they've taken, mechanics and stuff that they've kind of borrowed, let's say, that feel very similar to because people keep saying, oh, Astro Bot PS5 is just Mario Galaxy 3 but on PlayStation, because you have the elephant that does the platform. You can make the platforms. It's like Cloud Mario, or it's things like that. And I think it's so funny when one game or series does a very specific thing with their game mechanics, and they don't patent that shit. Topical fucking subject, but
right. Very topical, especially when it comes to Nintendo
they
stuff.
That's what I'm saying. So if they don't patent that shit, then anyone can kind of borrow aspects. Nintendo's dabbled in a little bit of that too. You can't say Nintendo's fucking pure and holy on that front, because I'm gonna keep saying it. They straight up borrowed the fucking anti-gravity changing Mario Kart 8 shit from Crash Nitro Kart. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. But when Nintendo does it first, and then someone else tries to copy it, everyone goes, well, yeah, that's the Mario thing. So, this is just a Mario game, but it's not Mario. And that kind of pisses me off, because it's Astro's its own thing, dude. It borrows from a bunch of other shit. Let it be its own thing and just borrow from the best.
Yeah, and also
it's not trying to be it or
and also trying to
copy it.
Trying to compare two games because they share one game mechanic is really irrelevant and redundant, because it's because it's a game mechanic. So it's
that's every platformer then is just copying one another.
Exactly.
You jumped from that platform to that platform,
just say,
hovering in the air, and that's just like Crash, that's like Mario, that's like Spyro, that's like Ratchet, that's like Slide, that's like Jack, that's like Hat in Time, that's like...
Yeah, you comparing two games because of one game mechanic is essentially saying, well, every game's just copying each other. and it's
I
like
mean, that's the other side of what I said before, that we've got so many games to pull from now. Back in the day, franchises like Crash and Spyro and Mario finding their footing and how to do 3D games and what have you. They didn't have a lot of history to look back on. They were just starting out. They were pioneers of that. But now that we're here and we've got billions of fucking platformer characters, familiar mascot characters, or just platformers in general. The idea bank, while still we're not quite there as in exhausting all the ideas, but we're reusing a lot of familiar stuff because not to say that games are being made similarly nowadays necessarily, it's just that there are so many games of that genre around that like we're picking and pulling, we're doing little throwbacks, we're doing this and that, we're just making familiar little fun things to do.
Yeah, even other than especially when you look towards like indie games as well, they take from some of the greater games and just be like, hey, we're just gonna do this and then do our own spin on it.
Again, it's just the KISS principle. It's the KISS principle, which I've talked about with Wes when we played Sonic Generations. Keep it simple, stupid. If it's fun and it works and it's good and it's very easy to get the hang of, go for it. Doesn't mean that they're ripping off Mario or that Mario's ripping off this or that.
That would also be like saying if Pizza Tower ripped off Wario Land or something.
Or Anton Blast ripping off Pizza Tower or Wario Land. Yeah. They're just it's coded. You get what they're kind of going for. You get what the inspiration. It's wearing the inspiration on your sleeve rather than trying to rip them off from.
Yeah.
Be that or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a testament to Astro's platforming. It's so tight knit and it's so precise, and all the ideas are so good, and they teach you so well. It's that very principle that Game Maker's Toolkit talked about with Mario 3D World. I forget the exact word, but it's the 4-act structure of like the Japanese kind of like. I think it's storytelling, but they applied it to a more game mechanic type principle of teaching you with a safety net, slowly taking away the safety net, doing like a variation, and then testing you with like a challenge. That's what Astro Bot does. So it's good. It's good platforming, good gameplay, great graphics, great gameplay.
Pretty much, yeah.
But now that we talk about the future of Astro Bot, which I don't know what that is, that's the cool part, is that we never really know. They don't tease things like Astro very much. The cool thing is that with this game and it Game of the Year, that just means that Astro now is at this very fucking high status, which is super cool. He's even appearing in like Japanese PlayStation stuff. Like they keep doing these like parties or these like events. And Astro's there, like, DJing it up with his friends. Like, have you seen those like, I say animations. Have you seen those commercials? Those ads?
I think I have, yeah.
Like, it's cool. Like, now he's, like, kind of, he is the current and official mascot. With that said, though, I'm hoping... Because I've been hearing people say, oh, well, what would have made Astro Bot PS5 cooler, or what they could do in the next Astro Bot, is make more levels like those special levels, where they mimic gameplay from other games. Which, yes, that'd be pretty sick. It'd be cool to do, like... Because, again, they always do their Astro Bot spin on it. So it'd be funny, it'd be really funny, if they did do an Astro kid-friendly-ified version of, like, Resident Evil or Silent Hill or something, or if they took on, like... Tekken, where you had to fight Heihachi or Kuma or something, or because that's gonna feel more like a Heisei game, with like It Takes Two or Split Fiction, where they go into other genres and stuff of games. Mainly, It Takes Two does it more than Split Fiction, but point being that like you can kind of genre hop in the same game, but you're just paying homage to like fighting games, isometric games, dungeon crawlers, hack and slash, like RPGs. Like that'd be kind of cool if they did. That would
be interesting, actually.
That would be cool. However, like I said before, I was teeing it up for this moment, that Astro's identity is now very much, it seems to be very much infused with representing PlayStation. Point being, a lot of people have kind of forgotten, since it's already been about 10-ish years since, again, Rescue Mission and everything. We've kind of forgotten Astro's origin. He didn't need that to be successful. Again, the PlayStation iconography and everything else was very subtle in Rescue Mission. A lot of that PlayStation representation was not at the forefront. It was just there to be cute and be like, it's only on PlayStation, so of course we can go ham with like referencing little PlayStation things here and there. Mainly just, again, in the symbols and just the fact that, it was on PlayStation. But with Playroom being a tech demo for PS5, and then them choosing to go ham and represent all of PlayStation in that tech demo, it opened the door for them to do that same thing with Astro PS5. So where the hardware, I mean, yes, the characters too, but mainly it was the hardware, like, again, we just said the light guns, the older, slimmer, the alternate, rather, slimmer console versions, or memory cards, or whatever. Like, that was the big nostalgia drop in that game. For Astro, it is the characters and it is the franchises being represented. Again, who the fuck's gonna remember Mr. Mosquito? Or something like that, right? Like, if you know, you know. But it is now, like, just so, like, the two are so fused together in that sense, with this game in particular, that people are, I fear people are now going to expect that of Astro. They're going to expect more PlayStation representation. They're going to, because they liked it so much, and again, they did it so well. I obviously like it a lot too, but it scares me because I don't want Astro to all of a sudden, at the drop of a hat, just be forgotten because they stopped doing that. That Astro Bot himself is still the focus. It is not about the PlayStation representation. That is a bonus. That is meant to enrich in kind of what they're doing for the gameplay of this game and what it's supposed to be and what it represents. Again, too, kind of a big gap with the 25th anniversary being why they kind of did it too for Astro's Playroom. The 30th anniversary is here now for PlayStation. So in one of the, if not the base game, I think it's in one of, no, maybe it was the base game. They celebrate PlayStation's 30th. There's a little, because you can go up and there's a photo mode, so you can like take pictures and stuff, and they've got little standees, kind of like Rayman with the Rayman 1 with the checkpoints. So you can go into the little standees and put your head in, or your face rather. There's one that is for PlayStation for the 30th anniversary specifically. So, yeah, these milestone markers are cool for PlayStation, and having Astro represent that is cool, but that's, to me, not his identity. The identity is the fun gameplay and the cool moments you can have within the games, and the silly characters, and I don't know if they really intentionally... See, I don't think so. Because the Playroom, the VR Playroom, and then Astro Bot Rescue Mission, with Astro and the bots being so generic looking. I mean, Astro sticks out because he has the blue accents and the little cape. All the bots look the fucking same, except the rabbits. Like, they all look the same. So them being blank slates in terms of their design, I think that was it filled the role for those first two games. But come Astro's Playroom, they started to dress them up as the characters. Then come this one, now they're even more detailed and they can do more to represent those series and those franchises, and again, just even the individual characters. So now they're not looking so generic anymore, but they're still very coded in nostalgia and in the current space of representing these franchises. Are they going to continue that? Or is Astro's success now going to depend on that? I don't want it to.
I don't want it to either.
I don't want it to. I want them to be confident.
Because I think that Astro Bot, just like him as a character in like the games, as like at least the Rescue Mission as it was, I think that they could still just keep Astro Bot around to just kind of do what Rescue Mission did, but just not in VR.
Yeah.
Because that's what this kind of felt like, but it was like, obviously the PlayStation stuff was more of like a bonus than anything, but if they are to keep the franchise around for however long they want to keep it around for, I don't want them to solely have the success of Astro be solely dependent on nostalgia. I don't want them to just resell nostalgia again for like, and then have that keep going for however long they are willing to go for.
Because how much more can you really even do with that? Again, we already have so much representation, then again,
it's kind of it's kind of the Smash thing. How we had our own little discussion where it's like if you try and go above and beyond when you put in so much to represent however much you want,
like how much
more can you go, and like how much longer can you keep that up for without it becoming stale? Like
before you have to reuse
it becomes
that
impossible.
stuff,
Yeah, before you reuse stuff.
Well, we were okay. So we sort of touched upon that in the Smash podcast, but we recently what Vic's talking about is we recently had this conversation kind of again off camera, just on our off time. We were just talking about it, where like for that example, like if Sakurai were, God forbid, to make another Smash game, the logical place, and I think what people want him to do, what
sensible people want. Let's just add that.
No, what everyone seems to want is a bigger Smash game.
Oh, okay. No, never mind.
We want him to make a smaller scale Smash to kind of like go back to like the Melee days or something where it was a little. But okay, no, it's not a Smash Brothers. Point being,
sorry.
Point being that what everyone else seems to want out of that is like a new Smash that like is like bigger than Ultimate. But how do you go bigger when you've already represented so much in Ultimate? You'd have to bring that represented stuff back again, and it's just redundant.
Yeah, you would have to make it a template, copy and paste it, and then just add more around it. Which I mean, even then, it's like, but you're still making Ultimate. You're still making Ultimate. You're just adding more things. Why not have just done that for Ultimate anyways?
And that's what I don't want for Astro Bot. I mean, that correlation still stands.
Yeah, for Astro, it's the same thing. It's like you can only represent so many PlayStation things. It's like how much longer would you even be able to do that if that was the direction you wanted to take the franchise in?
Yeah.
And really, you can't do that because
the only real thing that they could do, like I was saying before, is if they made either more or most of the levels gimmicks be represented around doing another game style. And again, that's it'd be fun.
It'd be fine. It'd be fine because it's like, oh, now you can try and make the levels around this genre that you're trying to represent. But like,
or just like every level has its own, like, oh, in this one the gameplay style and like where you're at is more like Crash, or maybe you're on Insanity Beach or something, or like in this one now you're doing a more open, because Astro Bot PS5 also opened up some of the level design to being like kind of Mario Galaxy-ish. Again, sorry, I know we're comparing, but like to like bigger open,
more like semi-open
sandbox-esque levels where you can just run around in it. There's still a linear path to go, and you still have to get to the end goal.
Yeah,
but you can run around this big space, like the one with Big Brother in Astro PS5, like that's the level I'm thinking of. Like it had Shadow of the Colossus representation and all that stuff, but like it's a big open area you can just run around in, and then do the linear stuff when you're ready. So you can have like a spiral level or like something else. But I don't know, like it'd still be dependent on nostalgia though if you went that route. Which is why I don't know. I'm so torn on like what's going to happen with Astro from here on out, because I personally don't want it to take over what Astro is, because that's not what Astro started as. And because it's not what it started as, I still feel there's something to be said for making a new game after Astro PS5 where you could possibly do Rescue Mission, not do it again, but have that formula back where it's, or that aesthetic even back really, where it's back to just Astro. But you'd have to make up for it with some, again, more original stuff. I don't want them to fucking reuse any more music or level templates. They were doing really good with that in PS5 because they have different looking beach areas, a casino area, which was so cool, stuff like that. But they brought a lot of mechanics back. They even brought stuff back from Rescue Mission that wasn't in Playroom, like those blue see-through platforms in the spooky areas where you have to like
platforms,
illuminate. I got something's in my nose. Illuminate it with the light, and so they brought a lot of stuff like that back, and I want to see more originality, like I was saying before. So
yeah, I think that's pretty much all I could hope for Neo Astro is if they try and go back to like how Rescue Mission was, just kind of do Rescue Mission, but make it more unique have it kind of like you can have it feel like a kind of spiritual sequel or so to like Rescue Mission, but like
Well, I feel like that's what this is. Astro PS5 is that, but it combines what came before it with Rescue Mission and with Playroom. But yeah, what we're asking for is to kind of
deviate away from all the nostalgia stuff
PlayStation
and just
rep.
make it more Astro Bot focused. Like
have some of that backing, subtle aesthetic. Still be about PlayStation if you wanted to, because again, they did that in Rescue Mission. But
so yeah, you can make the PlayStation
don't make it
stuff
the
in the
front center
background,
focus.
Yeah.
Or even if you're going to do some special levels again, like just make them like you did with PS5, where it's every so
like,
often.
Yeah, like maybe maybe like
different
one level
franchises
in the
or
world
something,
is,
something.
something.
Or even if you borrow mechanics or borrow elements from that gameplay and style and not directly recreate it, then you can recontextualize it into something a little bit more original, perhaps. I don't know. These are just things that we were hoping to see from a new game or wanting to see, or it's something that's been on my mind since the hype started to kind of come down after like we finished the game for the first time and all that, and as the DLC was coming out. I'm like, it's all fun and it's all good and it's great and it deserves again to be Game of the Year. But there's a lot they reuse, and they're starting to get a little too dependent on the PlayStation stuff. To the point where I say that because, again, I don't want people to just expect that from them now. That if Astro doesn't do it again, people are going to forget and say, oh, well, it's not as special as it was before because it had PlayStation stuff in it before. That's not what Astro started as. I only say that because it's not what Astro started as. If Astro started as that, then I'd be like, well, if they can represent different franchises that they didn't in these games, but again, with so much they've already referenced, what more? I mean, there's still plenty more, but like, what else can you do? Like, what to freshen it up? You've already done the most iconic stuff that's out there. So like, what's left? The less iconic stuff, or the more obscure things like Parasite Eve or fucking Twisted Metal? Fez still wants Twisted Metal representation somewhere. The only time Astro Bot ever referenced Twisted Metal was as a trophy in Playroom, because it's called Twisting Metal. And for some of the concepts of for the special bots, the VIP bots in Astro PS5, there was supposed to be a Sweet Tooth bot, but I think they cut him. And that pissed Fez off. He's like, what the fuck? So you could do like, have more representation for those franchises that still never got much of a chance. But beyond that, since you did the most iconic stuff already as it is, you're going to be hard pressed. Like Soul Calibur, fucking, I don't know, DDR, I don't fucking know. They did Space Channel 5. They did fucking, Sonic? I don't know. Sonic's been on PlayStation 2, I'm sure. Fucking, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what
it all
happens.
just kind of depends on if they do make another one. It just depends on what we see from it and what it looks like.
What they decide to do.
What they decide to do with it. But yeah, that's just kind of where Astro Bot is now. Currently, was just like, are they going to keep doing the PlayStation stuff, or is it going to be something a bit more? Or are they going to go back to like how Rescue Mission was and make it a bit more original?
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see, but.
Besides like all that stuff, like just talking about the games and then like having our experience with them, they're definitely games that we would both recommend to people to play. If you like platformers, if you like seeing nostalgic stuff,
if you like platformers and don't even know or care much about the PlayStation rep for any of these games, you're still gonna get a solid
you're still gonna get a really
good
experience,
because the games are fun to play. They have really tight platforming, and you can see the evolution of them learning how to. The fact they hit it out the gate, the first go around, like the fact that people who played the VR Playroom thing wanted to see a full fledged platformer from them, and then they did it, and they caught lightning in a bottle 4 technically fucking times, back to back. Like, how the fuck do you do that? That's crazy. So Astro Bot's super successful, and the fact that he grew past the VR stuff, where he could have easily have stayed and been forgotten, but it was just so good. And yeah, the PlayStation representation boosted him for sure, which is totally fine and okay. With this game, it's still fun and okay, but it's the fact that I'm fearing people are going to expect it. So that's why I'm saying the things I'm saying. We're saying the things we're saying about this segment here, ending off the podcast, is that because people seem like they're going to start expecting it, I want to remind people that's not how Astro started. And that wasn't his identity. I don't want the PlayStation coded stuff to become so infused with his identity that the minute he stops doing it, people are going to stop caring. Because that's going to go against everything that I feel put Astro on the map with the Game of the Year award and all of that stuff. I don't think Astro got Game of the Year because of the references. I think he got Game of the Year because the game was legitimately fucking good. The PlayStation representation was a bonus, like I said before. Like,
yeah, because again,
having all the references and having all that stuff to chew on and to like just marvel at and reminisce on is still super cool, just like in Playroom. But
yeah, because
it's not the main focus.
Yeah, because again, it's that thing of, hey, if you know this thing, then you know, but you don't necessarily have to know that to enjoy it. You can just play the game and have a solid experience with it, and it's like, yeah,
the game's still fun.
This was a fun game, you know.
And that's pretty much it.
So yeah, it's just now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing if they do another one and where
the fact that Astro's as big as he is right now, and they're still again keeping him around in like ads and stuff and what have you, he's not going anywhere for a while, which is good. I wouldn't be surprised if he got like a little miniature series to himself or something, or like, I don't know about a movie, but like some little series or like some little something extra outside of the games. I wouldn't fucking
animatics.
I wouldn't be surprised. But as far as the new game goes, because again, scary how fast time is moving. They're already in talks about PS6 stuff. I mean, so like, if we're getting like an Astro Bot experience or two per console, like we're like a Smash Brothers, then we already got Rescue Mission on PS4, Playroom and PS5, the PS5 game on PS5. So if they're saving his next thing for PS6, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm just hoping that they learn from the experience more and don't get too comfy trying to keep Astro in the PlayStation representation space, so as to where if they stop doing that for any reason, whether it's IP things or budget or whatever, because again, the fucking budget on PS5, Astro PS5 must have been insane to get that many IP in one game. It's like Smash Brothers, where it's like there's a lot of moolah, a lot of rights being... A lot of rights. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If it gets to a point... I mean, they're going to keep getting bigger, but if it gets to a point where they just can't or don't want to deviate from that now or anymore, or don't want to do that anymore, I don't want people to get all disappointed and be like, well, what the fuck? That was Astro. That's what Astro was, because I'm here to say no, it wasn't. It helps, and it's cool that it's there, but I see it more as a feature than as the selling point. I would if I
like background elements.
Don't get me wrong too, real quick before we end off. How Vic said we recommended. I'd recommend the game. I would not recommend it under the pretense of, hey, PlayStation. If you love PlayStation, that is a bonus.
I'm recommending it as
if you want a fun platformer, play Astro Bot on PS5. If you want a fun platformer that's got the nostalgia, then you can play it. But first, I would say play it because it's a good game. Welcome. Welcome. I keep saying welcome when I'm going to end off.
Smoke 'em. Hello and smoke 'em.
Thank you for listening to our TED Talk. Tune in next time, and we'll do something else. Astro Bot.
Astro Sweet.
Astro Bot.